Hey, welcome back to another session of Ruby on Rails and StimulusReflex. Today I'm going to continue where we left off yesterday. In the meantime, I fixed the issue with my Xcode install, so I can now install the Vise, but I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to continue where we left off and then figure out how to create the users and install the Vise later. So let me switch to my editor. Okay, this is basically my editor untouched from yesterday. So as you can see, the last error that we got was about missing post controller. But just an example, so let's say you come back to this project a few days later, right? And you don't have that. You can just run Cucumber and then it will tell you what the failing tests are. We currently have two because one of them we canceled because of that error with the Vise, not finding the library and not being able to install bcrypt. So the other one, the one that we worked on, is this post controller constant missing thing. So this is the feature that allows the user to create a post basically. So that's what we're going to continue with, and then we'll go back to the user sign up feature and install the Vise and take it from there. But for now, I can run this feature in isolation and focus on that. So I know that the next step I need to do is to create a post controller constant. I'm going to go to my editor. Controllers, post controller. Okay, and now I can run this test again. Right, so the next error is missing the new action. Okay, and now it's missing the template. So I'm going to make the directory views, what's this called? Posts, right? And touch app views. Posts new HTML RV. Okay, so now we have that missing template. Okay, so now this is the real behavior error. So the page doesn't have a post body field. That means that we're missing a form on the page, so that's the next thing we need to create. Okay, so app views posts new, and I'm gonna need a form here for a post. And the body is gonna be a text field called body. As you can see, I'm only focusing on adding the code that the test requires. That way, when I'm done, I can confidently close my feature knowing that all my implementation code is covered. Okay, so this error says that the first argument to the form for helper is nil. That's because in this new action, I haven't initialized the post. So post.new. Okay, now I don't have a post model. So that's what I'm going to create next. And I know I'm going to have a body. And I know I'm going to have a file but I want this file to use ActiveStorage. So let's see how to do that. ActiveStorage install. Right. Okay, so it created a migration. Did it? Oh, right. Yeah, so it added this table. Okay, so I guess I can run db migrate. Okay, that's done. And storage. I have a storage file. That looks okay, I guess. Nice thing with ActiveStorage is that you can start with just using the file system, and then you can move to S3 or whatever you want. So that's the goal here, and I want to make sure that this is local, storing my files locally. Yep. And I think that's all I need to do. And what I want to find out now is how can I attach, oh, that's the one. So it has one attached avatars. And in our case, you're gonna have a attached file on the post. So now I can create my post. And since I'm not gonna use a field, a database field for the image, it's gonna be a relationship, then all I need here is probably the body. And what else? Yeah, I'm gonna need the number of likes and the flag for whether the post is liked or not. Okay, so likes, integer, and liked, boolean. Is there anything else I need? Body likes, liked by user. Yeah, that's gonna be a, okay, so I could have a liked field on the post, but if I want to have users, each user like the post or unlike the post, then I need to use a different table for that to store the user ID. That's one way to do it, but no, actually I could have a likes table. So one way to do it is to have a liked column, and if I do that, then it's only post, meaning it can only be liked or unliked. But if I want to make that a relationship on the user, I need two IDs. I need the user ID and the post ID. So that's going to be a joint table between the user and the post. And I'm going to store the like there. Okay, that's what I'm gonna go for. So then I don't need the likes because I can count them on the join table. If I do use a likes column here, it's probably going to be like a counter cache. So I don't want to do that now. I guess body is all I need for now, and we're going to add anything else later if we need to. Okay. So this is going to add a body column, and that's okay. I'm going to migrate this, and also for the test environment. Okay, let's run the Cucumber test again. Cucumber add feature. Okay, now it tells me that I don't have a post path because I haven't added any routes to it. So post path, that's because the form for helper tries to create a form with a that goes to a create action, meaning it's a post method. And so I need to add the create route. Okay, and now post new. The ID here needs to be post body. Okay, so now it looks for the file field. So I'm gonna have a file field here, field post file, and then the post model will have to have this has one attached file. Doesn't have to right now, so I can comment this and let the test guide me to add it. But sometimes you can take 2 steps and be fine with it, especially if it's not something that you want to unit test, which is not in this case. Okay, so notice that I've commented out that we'll see when it complains about it. So I'm gonna have a submit post new submit. Okay, now I need a create action, post controller. I forgot what the test says, but we'll see. So now this second step is passing, but this third one is failing with the same error that we saw before, which is saying that there was no page open yet. So let's see what that's about. I'm gonna open a new tab here. Create post feature. So okay. So this is the step that's passing. Create a new post. And then the third one, it doesn't see anything because, let's see, because it doesn't see the page, or it doesn't load the page, and I'm not sure why that is yet. So I'm logged in goes to the home page, meaning it will get here, and then when you click this, nothing happens because there's nothing in the create action. So if I were to redirect here to, let's say, root path, see what that does. Yeah, I expected to find my post body, but found something else. Sign up, welcome new post. Okay. So now, in order to make that test pass, we need a way to make these two happy, meaning we'll need to show the contents of the post, and we'll need the image to work, the image upload. Okay, so now on the create action, let's just create the post new, post params, post params, I'm only going to permit the body because that's all. Well, I'm also going to get the file. Yeah, we can make the first one pass, meaning this thing where it looks for the body, and then figure out how to make the image part work. So let's run that. Same thing. Now it goes to the home page, which is views site index. So this is the home page. This doesn't load any posts. It doesn't display anything. So I'm gonna add that in here. Instead of having a post index page, I'm gonna have a root path that loads everything, so everything is going to be seen on the home page. So this is going to iterate over the posts, each do posts. Okay, and let's just add the post body here. Right, and yeah, this will fail. I just want to confirm that. Unfragmented each for null class, because in this site controller we don't have anything. So posts needs to be post.all. Okay, now it still doesn't find the post body, and I want to see if I can figure out why that is. So posts takes all the posts. Yeah, I'm not saving that post. Okay, so that one's passing. And now we can move on to the next step, which is to make the image work. Okay, so here I'm gonna need to add in the file and then enable this one. And let's see if that works. No, it doesn't. Let's add a pry there and figure out what's happening. Wow, I didn't expect that. is crashing with a seg fault. That's not good. Let's call binding.irb. Okay, so post has a file. Oh, well, this is working, except I haven't displayed the image yet. Right. So let's display the image here. I just want to look at the documentation and see how you display the image on the page. So I guess that's how you do the variant stuff, but I don't want to attach. So it's just post.image .file, sorry, and this is an image tag. Is that all? Let's try it. Yeah, cool. So let's start at the server and see how it looks in the browser. So here's my app. Okay, I don't see much there. New post. I guess this is for the body. Looks crappy, but this is the body of the post. And then I need the image. Okay. That is weird. Authenticity token. Why in the world would I get that? It's probably something very obvious that I'm missing. Application, no, application controller. Let's Google it. This is, yeah, I would expect it to use something like this, but I'm wondering why it's not. So I could either skip it or figure out why it's not working. So let me try to skip this for now because I don't really need it yet, and then maybe I'll try to figure it out afterwards. It's weird that it does that. Right, so I have a post. I'm gonna add a comment here. And I'll come back to it later, because this should work by default, and with my tests it does work. So I'm guessing I might have something in the browser. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's not stress about it now. So I have my post. It looks like crap, but I do have it. I can see it here. So what I could do now is try to make it prettier. So it needs to look like this. One thing I could do is to copy this CSS from this app and use that. But I wanted to use Tailwind CSS. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use the CSS for now. And if you do want to see Tailwind, maybe we can get to it later. Yeah, just write in the comments. Let me know if you want to see how to style this with Tailwind CSS, and if you do want to do that, then maybe tomorrow we can nuke this whole CSS out and use that instead. Okay, so let's go back to the editor and go to my CSS files. I'm going to add a file here that's going to be called style.css, and I'm going to copy Instacart style sheets. Yeah. Now let's see if that works. No, it doesn't, because I obviously don't have the same HTML structure. So that's the next thing. I need to add some classes and some HTML markup. And for the other one, well, I guess I can look at the browser and copy the markup from there. So here's how the HTML looks like. I have a parent div that has a class of Instacart, and then I have header, image, actions. So I'm going to copy all that. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in here. Oh, that looks ugly. Oops. Add it as HTML. No. I know there's a linter in my editor, but haven't used it much, so I don't know how it's called. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna format my HTML, and then I'm gonna paste that in here. Okay, so this looks better. Actually, let's use a partial for that. Use site, not site posts. So I'm going to put it in this partial, and then in my site index file, I'm going to use that partial. Yeah. Post, yes. Or actually, I can pass it in a collection like that. Okay, and now I should have a post variable available, but first let's see if this works. Yeah, okay, so I don't have the comments yet. I'm gonna remove that for now. So I don't have the user. Well, actually, let's leave the comments in there. Should I leave it? So what I do have is this image, which is this one. It's got an ID. Interesting. Yeah, I cannot use an ID where, or I could, but I don't want to, because we're gonna have many posts and you can only have one ID on the page. So image tag, and the class here is going to be Instacart image, and then the div. Okay, now let's look at the style. Image, okay. And I also want a body. The previous one didn't have a body, so I'm gonna put the body here, and where it says image, I'm gonna replace it with body. So I think that's good. No, it's not. Syntax error, right? Because this thing doesn't make sense. I should put it here. Instacart body. Right, so this is working. But my outer div needs to have a fixed width. Let me look at this one. Yeah, so this one has a fixed width of 614 pixels, but this one does not. And I'm not sure why that is. Or maybe it does, but maybe the image doesn't. Instacart body, image. Okay. This is CSS debugging. I'm not sure why this doesn't show up. Is it probably because this image takes over? Oh, no, this is the problem. So I forgot this about my partial rendering, and now everything is working as expected. Okay. But I do have a few things that are just placeholders there. So the profile, which we're gonna get to it when we write the second test. One thing I could do is I could just leave this body and image in here and remove everything else, and then add them when I have the test, and that's probably the best way to go forward. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do, because I don't like having code that's not tested. So I'm going to leave these in, and I'm going to remove everything else. I'm also going to remove the ID. So that's all I have right now. Oops, I hope that you can still see that. Okay. Right, so all I have right now is my body and the image, and that's also what I have in my tests. And if I want to have more, then I need more tests. Okay, so let's go back to running the Cucumber tests and see what's in there. So I can create a post feature is passing, so that's good. And now we have this user feature that's failing. I want to commit this thing. So what I like to do is, usually when I have a feature passing and have no failing tests, I want to make a commit and push to the repo. But I do have a failing test now, so what I'm going to do is make a commit with just the functionality for the post creation, and then we're going to focus our attention on the user registration. Okay, so yeah, that's not, this is needed, this is needed, yep, no, it's not needed, yep, styles, post controller, post model, partial, new, migrations, schema, the feature file, steps, the fixture, what else? The factory, yeah, I'm going to commit that, and the spec, yeah, added, ability to create posts. Cool. So now we can focus on this failing feature. Let's copy this and run it in isolation. So here, the next step is the user form, basically. And what discussed last time, the problem was that you could reinvent the wheel and create the entire user not management, but user sign up and login functionality from scratch, and that would take a lot of time because there are a lot of edge cases there. Or you could use a library like devise, and I cannot remember any project that I've worked on that didn't have devise or something similar, and that I had to create the login or registration functionality from scratch. So I don't think there's any point in reinventing that wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install devise and then take it from there. So let's go to the gem file, have devise here. I'm gonna install devise, and then I don't remember how to use devise, even though I use it on all my projects. Come on. Getting started. Okay, install. Initializer, locale. So I need this in my config. Okay. Actual mailer default URL. I don't have that here. What else? Root, I do have a root. Yeah, let's add these. These are the flash notice and alerts that devise uses, and I want to add those in my application HTML layout. Okay. And then last thing is to generate the devise views. And the reason I want to do that is I want more control over their generated IDs. Basically because I want to target them from my tests, and I prefer to use dashes than underscores, and by default they use underscores. That, and also I might want to style them. And so speaking of styling, you can use I think it's a separate gem that, if I remember correctly, it's a separate gem that has a bootstrap version of the devise views, and you can generate the views by with the bootstrap classes and the way the bootstrap expects the forms to look like. So okay, so now we have a few routes available. Rails routes. Or at least we should have. Oh. I thought that devise adds the routes. Did that change? Okay, sorry. It's funny how I forget how devise works, even though I use it on all my projects. So I need to generate a user model, and then devise adds these routes. So now you can see I have all these routes that devise generated. Okay, so I have my user now, and I can migrate that. And the reason I was looking for the routes is because I want to get that new user session path for my user to be able to go to the login page. So in the application layout here, we're going to have that. So I need the other path, which is for registration, new user registration, to use it in here. Because if you remember the error, let's go back. The error was about not finding the fields, and that's because I had this empty string here, which means that if you click the link, you don't get anywhere. And now I've replaced that with the device generated path, and now the user should go to the device form. But the error is still there because the IDs are different. So we can go to the device views, and for registration we have a new template, and this will have the standard Rails naming for the IDs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add ID user email. If I do that, now I have a user email error, but the next one is going to be username. So speaking of which, I completely forgot about this. So that's nice because the test tells me about it. What I can do is add a migration, add username to users. Okay. Add column users, username, and this one's going to be a string. Okay. So now I need to add another field here for the username. And also what I want to do is make that username required. And there are a few ways you can do that. So to make this required, I would need some kind of test, right? And what I like to do is have a test in Cucumber that says if for any reason there's an error on the form, then I want to see the error displayed, meaning that I don't care about which error it's displayed. I just care about having all the errors shown up. So that means that this is a more high-level test for errors, and I would need something else to assert the specific error about username, and that's where unit tests would come in. So I would write a test in Cucumber that makes sure that the form displays the errors, but for the specific errors that the user gets, I would need to write unit tests, and I would do that for email, username, whatever, but I don't have to because those are coming from the device and they're already tested. But I could. So let's go ahead with the Cucumber test. user password. Okay, because I don't have an ID here. And I'm probably going to need one in here as well. Yep. User password confirmation. And the nice thing is I cannot have a typo in there because the test will tell me about it. In a way, testing feels a lot like compiled languages where the compiler tells you a lot about what you've done or if you have any errors. Okay. Cool. So now you can see that everything is passing, and I want to change that because if you remember, here's our sign up. We said that this last step, sorry, this last step here, we added an assertion for the welcome word, but we said that this needs to be more specific to display the user's name or email or username. So what I'm going to do here is I will expect the page to have welcome and then the username, John Doe, right? So if I run this will fail. Yeah, it fails because the standard welcome message in device is this: welcome, you have signed up, blah blah blah. Okay, so I need to change that. I also want to make sure that in my user form, I'm using Mix and Go as the username. Mix and Go. Okay, so this one's failing, and now device stores that message in the flash alert. So locale, not here, here, welcome, blah blah. This is the one. So this is for signed up, and what I want here is to use my username. So let's see how to do that with device. Do you have time? Yeah. Okay, so device, a welcome message. After sign up path. Okay. Is that the way you do it? Wow. I don't like that. Set flash message. Okay. But I don't want to rewrite this. Welcome. So what I want to have is welcome and then username. right? So that's what the flash notice needs to contain. And now how do I set this? Well, one way it looks like is this, where you define this after sign up path and you can override that. Let's try this. It's not very pretty. Let's see if it works. Application controller. Notice. Interesting. So I'm guessing resource here is the user, and then I could do welcome resource dot username, like that. Let's see if that works. It does not. So it still uses that the message from the locale. So this is not working. Oh, it's the registration controller. Okay, so this solution says you need to replace the registration controller. I would expect to be able to do this easier, but I'm not sure. Welcome, no, registration. Device documentation. Do we have any? Custom flash messages. Yeah, so again, the same problem. I wonder if I do have access to this resource in the locale. So this doesn't work here. I would need to replace the registration controller, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Do I have a resource here? resource. Let's hope we do. Ha! We don't. So let me see what helpers we have for our device. So we can generate the controllers. I don't want to do that. I might want to generate, or not generate, but replace the registration controller. Or not the controller, but the create action. That seems weird, because I would expect to have a lot more control over those flash messages. But anyway, let's create a controller. So, controllers, registration controller. And this registration controller needs to inherit from device registration controller. And then I need to update the routes. Like that. And what else? Yeah, I need that application controller. So this stuff moved in here. Now let's hope that's working. Registrations. Okay. Is that registrations? Yeah. Registrations. So I need to rename this registrations controller. Okay. I think that welcome message is the hard-coded part. I'm going to remove that for a second. Oh, it's not. So there is a welcome there. And welcome binding.irb. I want to see what that resource is. Yeah. Oh, I don't have a username. That's interesting. So if I set this, yeah, then the test passes. But I don't have it, which means it's not allowed in the params. So device again, device params. Params, because there is a way, yeah, there is a way to change the params that you allow. So an application controller. Okay, let's add that application controller. And for the sign up, I want username. Yeah, that's right. Woohoo! That's working. Cool. So now we have all our tests working. Oh, we don't. Why is that? So create post and homepage. Okay, so for the homepage feature, I don't think we need that anymore. If we would like to have it pass, then we need to find something else on the homepage, because there's no more there's no welcome without having an account. So I don't think we need that feature anymore. I can remove that. And then for create post, expect to find welcome. Okay. So given I'm logged in, this step needs to be redefined. Given I'm logged in, we'll need to do these things, right? So visit and create an account, which I've done here. And to make that easier, I'm going to define a helper, account or user. User helpers, and I'm going to define a function here that says create sign up, and sign up is going to do all that. And then I'm going to reuse that in here. So create an account, then I want to sign out, then click the login link, and then log in. So this is just one part, which covers these two steps, and I need to do the other ones. But I don't want to make this longer than 1 hour, so let's come back to it later. No, not later, but tomorrow, and continue where we left off. So we do have this these steps failing, actually this one. So if we run the cucumber command now, we only have one step failing. Oh, that's surprising. Create a post is passing now. Yeah, because this is passing because after sign up you will see the welcome message, but I need to sign out, and I want to make this fail so that I know next time I run this test that that's what I need to do. So it's like having a to-do in my code. So I hope you like this, and tomorrow we'll continue, and hopefully we'll get to either Tailwind CSS if you want to see that, and if not, we'll continue with cable ready probably. Okay, so see you tomorrow.